If they say that it was due to a technical glitch, the mistake is on their part. And how a journalist being held responsible here?
Yeah, this looks like a diversionary attempt. They had nothing to do with it, and yet they are being blamed. Journalists have a right. It's part of freedom of speech and expression, freedom of the press.
Merely receiving an FIR on a WhatsApp, is that criminal?
No. Asking these questions, it reminds me of what happened to NewsClick. This is a lack of professional training and maturity. Who are you to ask me why I covered this story or that? Is it relevant to this case? Is it relevant to your investigation? Trying to discredit journalists in the eyes of the public. A headless SIT, they don't know what they are doing.
Hello and welcome to the News Minute. For the past few days, journalists in Tamil Nadu have been protesting the summons that were issued by the SIT, which has been investigating the Anna University sexual assault case, and the FIR that was made available on a public platform by the police. Journalists who have not even, accessed the FIR on CCTNS website have all received summons, and that has triggered a lot of conversation in Tamil Nadu. To talk about this, I have with me the director of the Hindu group, Mr. N. Ram. Before I go across to him, here is a quick reminder: News Minute Tamil and News Laundry. We are a complete ad-free platform. We are not dependent on government ads, ads from political parties or corporate ads. We are dependent on you. So if you like our work, do become a paid subscriber of the News Minute and support independent journalism. Sir, thank you so much for talking to us. For the past few days, like I said, journalists in Tamil Nadu have been protesting against the SIT, the manner in which the SIT has been conducting investigations in the FIR issue that was made public on a police website. And later, the journalists are now being accused of doing something wrong, because it's a very standard practice that crime reporters or journalists, they access public document and they report about it. What is your opinion on it? You must have seen the newspaper reports, as well as the Chennai Press Club has also taken up this issue.
Yes, I have read the reports and also discussed it with journalists who are completely independent, from different organizations and so on. It's clear that the complaint being made by the journalists is absolutely justified. In fact, the protests by journalists, taking it up with the DGP and so on, I think is absolutely justified from what we know about the facts. It's clear from the facts that here was something, an FIR on a highly sensitive subject, which was uploaded. Whether it was a technical glitch or somebody's carelessness, I'm not competent to say. That is, this FIR was out there for anyone who went there, put their name, had they entered their name and phone number, got an OTP, and was able to read it, like any other FIR. On the CCTNS portal. And a number of they've been doing it for years. A number of crime reporters in reputable media organizations have been doing it. This is their job, to report accurately. Why do you need an FIR? Somebody briefs you, I want to check it out. I want to get into the nuances. That's what specialization in this branch of journalism is all about. And so they went and got it in. There is no evidence whatsoever. No, in fact, not only evidence, there's no indication, not a hint of an indication anywhere that any journalist who was summoned or whose devices for mobile phones were seized, I don't know if computers were seized, but mobile phones were seized by the Special Investigation Team, the SIT, constituted by the Madras High Court to look into this, had anything to do with whatever leaked. I don't know what was leaked. I haven't, we don't know that.
No, the point that we are talking about is the FIR was leaked online. But the argument that is put forth by the journalist is the FIR is available on a portal.
It was available.
Yeah, it was available on a portal, which can be accessed by any citizen of the country. It's a government portal. And if they say that it was due to a technical glitch, the mistake is on their part. And how a journalist being held responsible here?
Yeah, this looks like a diversionary attempt by those within the police. I don't know the names, I don't know the facts about that, to blame journalists who, again I repeat, there's no indication, not a hint of an indication that these journalists who accessed or even shared them professionally within a small group, which is a standard, had anything to do with how the identity of the survivor, or what they call a victim, but the proper term is survivor, got out. They had nothing to do with it, and yet they are being blamed. So how would you look at it? Any common sense will tell you. Somebody is trying to find a scapegoat. Somebody is trying to divert attention from their, whether it's wrongdoing or just a blunder of a serious kind. That's not important at this point. But journalists are in no way accountable or responsible or unaccountable for how this came out. This, I think, this much is clear, which is why the Chennai Press Club, all of you also went there.
Yeah, we went and met the DGP. We spoke to him.
And as well as other journalists have taken this up, and that is why I think the protest against this is justified.
Also, the fact that a normal routine procedure of checking the FIR, verifying the facts, confirming it with officials, and writing a story or talking about a story or putting out a story, crime story, all these acts are now being normalized, because the kind of questions that are being asked by the SIT is, why do you visit CCTNS portal so many times in so many years? Are you in the habit of taking FIRs and selling it? Are you making money out of it? So these kind of questions are being asked. So is this the kind of investigation that needs to be done? Because the mandate of the SIT is to find out, was there another person in connection with the Anna University sexual assault case, and the court has also asked them to look into who was responsible, which official was responsible in putting out that FIR in public domain. But the questions that are being directed at the journalist are like totally irrelevant.
Yeah, that's the other part, the harassment. One is, they shouldn't have been examined at all. They shouldn't have been, they have nothing to do with it. At most you can ask them questions. But to
record their statements.
Record their statements if it's relevant, if they are relevant witnesses to this, or have any role in this. What is this? The leak that it got out in the public, but it is settled on the basis of facts that it was up on the website. We shouldn't have put it there. You shouldn't have put it there. The unredacted FIR at least are there. The identity of the survivor should not have been disclosed, whether it was, let's say, inadvertently by the police.
Let us give them the benefit of doubt.
Yeah. So then the second aspect is the harassment. That you come and seize their phones, you don't even give a receipt. They may be they're doing all kinds of other things. There's confidential information there, and the Supreme Court has ruled that in fact, in the case where I was involved, Arun Shauri, Yashwant Sinha, and others
Prashant Bhushan.
They went to on the Rafale case. But so we had accessed the confidential document. So the question was whether it should be admitted as evidence by in the Supreme Court, and the court came up with a very fine ruling in that case, saying that journalists have a right. It's part of freedom of speech and expression, freedom of the press. In fact, there's some eloquent passages in that judgment on this. And there are other cases as well, but this was the one I remember very distinctly. So possessing something confidential, I don't mean the FIR in this case, but other information is perfect, but you want to find out. At best you can say it's irrelevant. You just want to harass them mindlessly or for whatever reason, do that. It is in fact illegal to do this the way it has been done as far as the reports go.
Like you pointed out, sir, confiscating a mobile phone of a journalist. Especially in this case, they wanted to know whether you received the FIR or not. Merely receiving an FIR on a WhatsApp, is that criminal?
No.
Is that an offense? Downloading an FIR an offense?
No.
Reporting on the contents of the FIR an offense?
No, but you can't report the name.
Name,
or reveal the identity.
Yeah,
yes.
Without revealing the identity.
Yes.
It's not an offense.
No, it's not. it's part of the professional duty of work of journalists, which is fully protected.
Then are you trying to say that the SIT is directionless? They are going after journalists without any method or
yes, because
meaning or method?
From the High Court's order, which you read out
Yeah.
before this, when we prepared for this, it is clear that they left it to the DGP, right?
The DGP has been directed to provide all logistical support.
Yeah, which would imply that it's oversight also. Logistical
So
support.
that's
they
how
didn't
you-
say,
that's-
they didn't say from what the order you gave me that they will report only to us. They did not say that. They did not say that. And then some of the observations against the commissioner have been stayed by the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
I'm not getting into that. That seems fine to me. It's not relevant here, but maybe he feels slighted. It's a bit harsh, the High Court's. But then, in view of the nature of the offence, the main offence, I think that is understandable. But whatever it is, now asking these questions, it reminds me of what happened to NewsClick.
Yeah.
Where very much when Prabir Purkayastha and the other and one other was arrested and others were interrogated. All kind. I think about 80 journalists.
Yeah.
And all their
Mobile phones and gadgets.
Only one or two were returned. They asked all kinds of irrelevant questions. The media was full of this. Why irrelevant? Why did you cover this? That's something unrelated to this.
Why did you cover farmers' protest for 5 days?
Yes.
Why did you cover CAA NRC protest for 10 days?
Yes.
Were you getting foreign funding to cover all these protests?
Yeah,
These
so-
were the questions
So the
that were
police have to. This is a lack of professional training and maturity. Yeah, I'm not saying everybody. There are some very good police officers.
Yeah.
Not only upright, but professionally, absolutely professional. I know them, some of them. And I appreciate that. They do a difficult job. But here I think it's I don't know how much experience they have, these 3 persons who are named.
as part of the SIT.
By the court itself. They must have got inputs from the police. I don't know how much experience they have, but certainly their conduct cannot be accepted. I disapprove the conduct. I'm using words carefully here. It's deplorable that this is how journalists were treated. All kinds of people summoned, and these irrelevant and offensive questions asked. If my professional work is going to be questioned like that, who are you to ask me why I covered this story or that? Is it relevant to this case? Is it relevant to your investigation as directed by the Madras High Court? No. So the conclusion we can draw is that they're trying to divert attention from something by going after journalists and trying to discredit journalists in the eyes of the public. Whether they do it deliberately or not, that is the effect. And therefore, journalists have to stand up. And I'm very pleased with the fact that there's been so much, people have figured this out and come, there is a lot of competition, sometimes cutthroat competition within the world of journalism, but I'm very pleased that so many people have come together, that even in the Chennai Press Club, people who
other organizations, all of them.
other organizations.
Yeah.
Are there many?
Yeah, there are other organizations. All of them have expressed their displeasure with what's happening.
Yeah, so despite their political situation around, I think it's good that there's a good measure of unity on this question, on the principles of what happened and on the facts of the case as well. So I think it's good that journalists have stood up. Very often we heard about the Godi media and all that, which is true. But in Tamil Nadu, at least, I think I'm very pleased with the unity in principle that has been won by different organizations as well as different individuals, because they see what is right and what is wrong.
And also, sir, like you pointed out, the SIT, they don't have a monitoring officer. Then the DGP cannot intervene. the Commissioner of Police can't intervene. They can't question the SIT. So what happens when the SIT is violating all procedures? Like you said, while phones were seized, there was no acknowledgement that was given to the journalist. They said, you go collect your phone by, putting a petition in the court. So when these kind of procedural lapses happens, then the entire investigation comes under question.
I think we must examine what part of their investigation was lawfully done and what was unlawfully done. And that matter has to be taken up seriously. Perhaps taken up to the High Court, Madras High Court itself in this case. If it is really headless and the top police officers are unable, their hands are tied in this respect, then I think if that is the case, it cannot be the case. It makes no sense because the department has leadership, has a command structure. And even though this should be independent, unless it says you shouldn't do anything, just report directly to the
court,
to the court, which they don't seem to have said.
Yes.
In this case. So they have to take responsibility, and I think it's a headless SIT. If they don't know what they are doing and just go about blundering like this.
Should the government do something about it? They should go approach the court and ask for a clarification?
Yeah, I think so. I think the government could help in this respect. The political government could help in this respect by saying,
give us some clarity.
It's wrong to blame journalists for this. They should take that stand. That's the stand I want them to take.
You can speak about it. You can take it up with the Chief Minister as well.
Yeah, I think. But they will. But normally you would go to the High Court. Somebody on behalf of this, maybe a coordination committee can be set up of journalists of various organizations, and they can approach the Madras High Court and stop this harassment and the completely wrong track
of this.
And I think these seizures, it's happened in the NewsClick case, other cases as well. There's no accountability. They just seize your documents. It's only a little lower order harassment than the bulldozer, using bulldozers for all kinds of things.
But how dangerous is this trend? Because this is something that we have been seeing in the past few days in Tamil Nadu as well. Earlier we used to talk about things like this in Delhi, things happening to TV, to journalists who are reporting against the government or anti-establishment journalists. Now we are seeing things like this happening in Tamil Nadu as well, where phone seizures are done in an arbitrary manner and there is no accountability whatsoever. So how do we see this? How do we approach this?
I think we have to get a very clear court ruling. There has to be on two tracks. One, there has to be a political campaign on the issues, which is in a sense political, only not in terms of political parties, but it has to a wider forum. And the other is the legal track. Both have to be pursued, and I think that's the way. So this can be halted in its tracks because it's not gone to that extent. It's starting to happen, and the police cannot be allowed to go this way. And we have to be clarity on on seizures, for example, what is lawful and what is not lawful. And their advocates, lawyers should come in.
There has to be a SOP or guidelines issued, clear guidelines issued to the police machinery.
I think there was an order by the Madras High Court on arrests and how to remand and so on. I don't know, I doubt it's being followed. Compliance all over. I think we have to do that. So I think some action in court is warranted here along with campaigning in public. So I'm very pleased that this has been taken up on behalf of these journalists, not looking at whether that journalist is in a competitor, working for a competitor or not. This is a good thing that's happening, which doesn't happen everywhere.
Right, sir. Thank you so much for talking to us and expressing your views on this subject, because this is very important and this is something which is related to the rights of the journalist, and their routine job is now being criminalized because of this case. If there are any further development in this case, I'll come back to you and I'll ask your opinion, sir. Thank you so much for talking.
I learned a lot from you, in fact, discussing it.
Yes.
to get the facts. So, and as well as some other journalists working in this organization. So, I'm better educated on this issue now because I was away.
Pleasure, sir.
Yeah,
Thank you.